Hey guys, we're Drew and Grace Sanford. We are missionaries with Ethnos 360, and Chris asked us to do the top 5 books that have impacted our family.
We are in the middle of packing our house up to move to Papua New Guinea within the next 3 weeks. So as I was watching the other videos about books that y'all have posted, I noticed everybody actually was able to have the book in their hand. Ours are all packed up, so I'm going to try and insert pictures so that you guys can see the books that we're talking about. So we got our girls involved, and we're going to start off with book number 1 with Emmy.
I really love that Jesus Storybook Bible.
So yes, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Jesus Storybook Bible. I think that Carson Bible even uses that with their kids program. I've seen videos about that, and we just really love the Jesus Storybook Bible because they do a really good job of all the way from creation pointing to Christ. It's not individual stories that are just their own little story by themselves. They do a really good job of introducing our kids to the overall plan that the Lord puts forward in the Bible and pointing to Christ and what he's done for us from day one all the way from the beginning.
So book number 2 is going to be the Lamb book, and that is going to be by Nora.
I really liked reading the Lamb book.
What did you learn from the Lamb book?
I learned that we didn't have to sacrifice animals anymore
Right? Why?
because Jesus died on the cross for our sins.
He is our what?
Savior.
That's right. Very cool.
So just in keeping with that meta-narrative that Grace was talking about, the overall story, the Lamb book does a really good job of showing Christ for who he is, and us as unable to cross that gap between us and the Lord, and how Christ did that for us. And another book for adults that goes right along with the Lamb book is The Stranger on the Road to Emmaus. That's a book by John Cross, and he does a really, really good job walking us through, putting all of the stories together, showing Christ for who he is as the hero of the Bible, and taking us to where, well, we see that we need him. We see our need for the Savior, and it kind of puts all of those puzzle pieces together that a lot of times growing up in church, we don't necessarily make the connection all the way through from start to finish. So he does a really, really good job of that.
So as Chris talked to us about books that we could maybe talk about, he specifically mentioned things that had to do with missions, world missions, and evangelism. And the cool thing is that evangelism starts in the home, right, with our kids. And that's what those last 2 books talked about. And then The Stranger on the Road to Emmaus obviously is a really cool way for new believers and young believers to get to know the Lord better. So those I would say have to do with evangelism. And in keeping with that, the next book, book number 3, is called The Peace Child. And that was a big book in my life as we began this road towards missions, and it is a riveting story. It actually does take place in Papua New Guinea. It's written by a missionary there. And so this isn't as much of like a theological book as it is the story of this couple going into a tribe and the difficulties that they faced there, the violence, the horrific things that they witnessed, and how God used all of it and answered all of their prayers and brought along just the right things at just the right time in order for them to be able to present the gospel to these people eventually after being there for years and years. It's a captivating story, and I would recommend it to anybody.
So book number 4, up till now, it's been a lot of the evangelism part. Our hearts, Grace and I, we really also have a heart for discipleship, and that's what we're going to be doing when we're over in PNG, is not just stopping with evangelism, but continuing in discipleship. And so for our 4th book, one of the ones that has really impacted my life is The Complete Green Letters by Miles Sanford. It's an incredible book. Starts out with positional truth and identity truth, and then walks you through into Christian life, and he just does a really good job of breaking down some of those things that we find difficult to both understand, but not just to understand up here, but how does that translate into my daily life and the choices that I'm making on a daily basis. And he does a really, really good job of that.
Okay, our fifth and final book is The Pursuit of God by A.W. Tozer. And that is one that I revisit every couple of years. It is full of truth. It is one of those things that, as humans, we tend to get focused on ourselves and kind of we become the important person, and we spend so much time looking at ourselves and our problems and stuff that we forget that it's not about us. And for me personally, it is a really powerful book. The way he words everything is just really impactful for me in helping me to turn my focus from here to there and looking at him and understanding God and getting to know him better. It is one that I would recommend 100%. And like I said, I read it every couple of years and I learn something new every single time. It is a huge book for my life.
Well, hey, thanks guys for letting us participate in this. It was nice in the midst of packing and getting ready to go overseas to just reflect on some of the ways that and some of the tools that God has taught us through and grown us through and grown us closer to him. We really appreciate getting to be a part of this, and we look forward to the next time we get to see you. See you.